Hi everyone, it's AJ and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Army of the Dead prequel movie, Army of Thieves. So let's talk about this film. Okay, so Army of Thieves has literally just dropped on Netflix 2 days ago. It's rated 15, obviously it's a 2021 movie with a runtime of 2 hours and 7 minutes. Now, like I've said, this film is a prequel to the Zack Snyder movie Army of the Dead, which came out a couple of months ago. A few months ago, I have done a review for that film as well. Now, this film is directed by Matthias Schweighöfer, who I didn't realise is actually the main star of the film. Yes, Data, the German character that we met in Army of the Dead, the safecracker. Yeah, it wasn't until I'd done my research into this film that I realised the director is actually him. Now, for the purpose of this review, I'll refer to him as Sebastian. That's the name he goes with in this film. That's his proper birth name. In the context of the story, the reason for his name change becomes apparent at the end of the movie. So he's the main star of the movie. Natalie Emmanuel stars as Gwendolyn. Now, she has been seen in a couple of the Fast and the Furious movies, I know. You've got an actor called Stuart Martin, who plays a character called Brad Cage. Now he looks like a sort of a B-list Wolverine, shall we say. The comparisons with Hugh Jackman are there in his look. And Jonathan Cohen plays a character called Delacroix, who is a Interpol agent. Yeah, there are other cast members, obviously, within the movie, but they're your primary characters. The musical score for this film was actually done by Hans Zimmer, yes, who's, well, he's about everywhere. He's like #1 in Hollywood at the moment. Film composer, not knocking someone like John Williams, who still works, but, you know, he does limited stuff. Hans Zimmer seems to be knocking it out all the time. Okay, so a little bit about this film. So, like I said, this is a prequel film. Now, this isn't a zombie movie. This is a heist movie. Yes, so go into that being aware of this. It's about this character of Sebastian prior to the events of Army of the Dead. Now, we do get news reports with regards to the zombie apocalypse that's going on in America, in Nevada, and the main character does have dreams of zombies because of stuff that he's seen in the news. So there are links to Army of the Dead and the zombie stuff going on, but this isn't a zombie film. Just to make that clear, it's about this character in a different setting and how he got to be where he is at the start of Army of the Dead. So this film starts off with you meet Sebastian. He's a YouTuber. He's creating YouTube videos on the history of safes and these magnificent safes that were built by this master safe maker back in the day. He has no traction on his YouTube channel. He has no views. He has no comments left or anything like this. He works in a bank himself, and his daily, he's got a daily routine that he goes through. He's quite a sort of loner individual. He hasn't got friends and this sort of thing, and yeah, he's just living this day-to-day humdrum life, until on this one occasion he gets a comment on this on one of his channels saying, would you like to put your knowledge to the test in a practical manner. So he gets invited to this place. He turns up. He has to give a password. He gets in, and it's like an underground club, and there's these safe crackers in a circle with safes, and it's like a competition. They've got so much time to get these safes open, and each safe, you know, you start off with X amount and then it's reduced, only 4 people go through to the next round, this sort of a thing, till there's 2 left and who's the master safe cracker, and ultimately he wins. Now the reason he's actually been pulled into this is by Gwendolyn, who sent him the invite and has followed him and looked at him. She wanted to see what he could actually do, because she invites him into this group who are planning this heist on these safes, these notorious safes that are meant to be impenetrable. So he joins them. This is where you're introduced to the other members of this team. Like I said, there is Gwendolyn. There's another young lady who's quite good on the old computers. The head of this group is this Brad Cage, played by Wolverine lookalike Stuart Martin, and they've got a driver as well. So ultimately they set about wanting to crack these 3 different safes in 3 different locations. They are being chased by Jonathan Cohen's Delacroix, Interpol agent, and his team, because of historical stuff that this group has done, not including Sebastian, obviously. So that's your primary setup for the film, and the film goes through these different locations and the different heists, getting into the banks and that sort of thing to get these safes cracked. And yeah, obviously there's chases within the film, this sort of thing. There's double crosses. I won't go too much into the story. And by the end of the film, obviously you know that nothing's going to happen to Sebastian, but you do find out how he ends up in America, how his name changes to Data, and this sort of stuff goes on. So the film itself, 2 hours and 7 minutes, it does run by. It's a very well crafted film, a well directed film, a well shot film, and a very well acted film. The character of Sebastian is fantastic. He goes on this journey of growth throughout the film, and you do see a transition from how he is at the beginning of the film to how he ends up at the end of the film, and becomes the confident character that we know from Army of the Dead itself. Like I said, I was very surprised that Matthias Schweighöfer had directed this film. I had no idea going into it that the main star was actually the director as well. And yeah, very well crafted and handled film. He's as well as being a good actor and very watchable and likeable within the film, he's a very capable director as well, it seems. Obviously, the writing in this film, like I said, Zack Snyder is part of the story process, but this film is far superior to Army of the Dead. Okay, it's a completely different film. It's set within the same world and this sort of a film, but this sort of thing. But it's not a zombie movie. You know, like I said, you have got small snippets of zombie elements in it, very small, sprinkled throughout, just to give you that connection. But go into this knowing it's not a zombie movie, it is a heist movie. One of the issues I thought I might have had with the film, which I didn't, is the 3 heists, the repetitive nature of going into 3 heists. Now, I do have issue with the Groundhog Day kind of scenario within films, because I believe, you know, I feel that when I'm watching that, I'm watching the same thing. I am watching the same thing over and over again, and thusly it kind of stalls the narrative that's occurring throughout a film. But in the case of this film, that wasn't the case. There's enough of a difference between the heists and the characters' motivations and the changing of the characters and what they're doing, and the coming into play of the double crossing and the agents chasing them and this sort of thing, that it doesn't get become of a repetitive nature or boring at all. It's a very, very good film. Yeah, so I haven't really got any negatives to say about this film. I went into it kind of not expecting too much. I mean, I was interested to see this character again because he was one of the standouts from Army of the Dead, but I didn't really know what to expect, and I was quite surprised at how big a budget it is, how well crafted it is. I mean, it's a theatrical nature. It's not like straight to video endeavour or anything like this. It's the sort of film that you could go and see on the big screen, and it feels that it would have a place there. It's a well crafted movie, and a movie that I would recommend you go and watch, even if you haven't seen Army of the Dead and you don't like zombie films. This, as a standalone movie, is a very good film, and is not a waste of 2 hours of your time. There is an end scene with Dave Bautista. Now, I've only seen Army of the Dead once, and I'm not entirely sure whether this is a brand new scene, but part of it tells me that this is actually a scene that was used in Army of the Dead. When they first approach him, that's the inkling that I get from it, as opposed to it being a proper brand new cameo appearance or anything like that. I may be wrong. Like I said, Army of the Dead I only watched it once because it was an okay film, but not particularly great. This film is a far superior movie, and this film I would again revisit sometimes very soon. It's a fantastic, fantastic film, and that's all I can say about it. Obviously, Hans Zimmer's score. Again, it's a decent score, not something that I'd ever want to listen to or have any motifs that stand out to me or anything like that, but adequate for the film that it is. Yeah, so all in all, very well directed film, very well crafted film. It has got a story that one runs through it. You've got enough character growth and interaction and relationships that the film stands up on its own, and it's a fantastic piece of filmmaking. Well crafted, well enjoyable film. Go and watch it. Anyway, this is AJ. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider hitting the subscribe button, which is just down below, even though I'm pointing up there at that little flashy sign that I put up. Come and leave me a comment. Hit the notification, all that sort of stuff. You know what I'm saying. Everyone else says it. I don't have to tell you. Just go and do it. You won't be disappointed, hopefully. Anyway, this is AJ. Thanks for watching again. Take care all, and goodbye.